Hi everybody, my name is Shannon and welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Well, if this is your first time, sit back and relax. My channel is all about knitting and crocheting and yarn and everything you can do with it. And sometimes there's some chat and stories thrown in because, that's just how that goes. And if you're returning, thanks. Thanks for joining me. It's a fun place to be, isn't it? Tell everyone you know. There you go. Fun place to be. Well, today's Monday. And for Monday, I like to go ahead and bring together around me all the things that I've worked on throughout the week to see, did I get anything done? Yes, I did. Look, I got the hat done. That's right. What I got done, what I'm working on, sometimes what I'm procrastinating about. You know how that goes. Hey, full disclaimer, I do not finish everything I start. Long ago, I have given myself permission, because sometimes we need that if it is not bringing me joy or something else along that line, it's okay. I move on to something else. Now, I've been like that since I was really little. My mom and I talked about that and everything when I was a little girl. And it would be a thing if I started things constantly and never finished. That would be another story. But I don't. I finish a lot. I make a lot of things. I finish a lot. Not everything gets done. That's okay. So we're going to go ahead and show some of the things that I've been working on this week. And hopefully everything that I've been working on will get done. So obviously the first thing is this cute little hat that I have on. This right here this was an alpaca, like a fingering weight right here. Red alpaca that my son got me at one of the local everything alpaca type stores, which is wonderful. And then the other carry thread here is sock yarn. Let me see if I can grab the socks because I didn't grab those out. That's this. That is what was left over from this pair of socks. You can see the striping and everything in there. And how beautiful is that? This is going to be such a lovely hat. I'll probably gift it. Such a wonderful, lovely hat that I will give to somebody else, and I'm sure they will absolutely enjoy it. Oh, you know what? I have these. Oh my goodness. Yes, I think we should put one on there. What do you think? If I can figure out how to open this without destroying the package. My friend Coral made my logo. And isn't that cool? And then she gifted me these on top of it. I'm going to have to ask her where she got them, who made them for her, because I plan on putting them on everything, right? Everything. Everything needs a tag on it, right? They all need tags. So let me see if I can pull out the proper, that's a real word, the proper pieces. Ooh, got a front and got a back. Yes. 2 little tiny pieces. We're going to put it on the hat, and it's custom made, handmade, totally finished, gorgeous. Look at that. I'm going to fold this little doohickey in half. Let's see, look at this. Isn't that pretty? So I put a little cable, like a slight twist on part of it, because, why not add some flair? Let's see. Where am I going to put it? Right here. There we go. I go ahead and see if I can get this on here. These are like little nails, right? If you've never seen that, like a little nail and everything, and then you put the little back piece on, and yeah. If I'd have thought about it, I would have already had it done, but I didn't think about it. But it was sitting right here waiting for me to finish a hat, and guess what? I finished a hat. Because, these just need to have a tag on them. Ooh, I need to move that up farther. They definitely need tags, don't they? I don't know when these tags became so popular and so in to have a tag on things, but it is, so I'm just going to go with it. There we go. Popped that on. Look at that. All right. Now that, let me turn that up. That styling right there, I have been tagged. Put on one side or the other with a little flippy-doo hanging out. Anyway. That's exciting. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I have my own tagged hat. That's so cool. With my channel name and the logo. Anyway, that's adorable. Wasn't expecting that today. That's fun. So I did get something finished. Yay. Yay me, right? Got something finished. And I think everything else, I'm going to put these socks back so I don't lose them. Everything else is in progress. I know after last week, I was showing this. Oh, don't want to drop those things. Yeah. I was showing some of the socks that I was working on. If you're new here, I try to do at least 10 pair of socks a year because I give out at least 10 pair of socks a year. Handmade socks. That's what I give for my children and my husband and my children's spouses. And then, you know, sometimes extra tend to go out because that's how that works. And then if I have a bunch made up, I try to give one of them for birthdays also for my 3 children and my husband. And their birthdays are November, December, January. So that's a whole lot of socks to make at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't make socks just at the end of the year. I make them all throughout the year so I have them at the end of the year. The grandkids don't get socks. Their feet grow too fast and they lose socks too quickly. So I make them other things. But do you remember this yarn? This gorgeous, sparkly Christmas yarn? Yeah, it'd be nice if I could tell you they were both done. They're not. So I did finish the one. And as we were talking about is wasn't sure since I was about here last week, was I going to finish it or was this going to be just a lonely sock? And then Lisa, she's here in Colorado. She's a retired school teacher. She was commenting on how her sister only has the one leg. And it's not going to lie, that might have crossed my mind of, well, at least it has a place to go if it doesn't get finished. But yeah, how cool is that? So I did have that. I did finish it. And just to make sure, you know, trying to make sure I actually get the next one done. Yeah, my needles and everything are tangled. Look at that. I started, it's just the cuff. I haven't gotten maybe 1 or 2 rows after the cuff. That's it. I do 20 rows of a 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. And then the length is as long as I want it. And then, because it changes, right? And then go on to the foot and the decreases. I did do this ankle hugging right here. So down towards the bottom, you can't tell on this one. I'll show you another one here. But I do a ribbing at the bottom, at the ankle right here, just where it hugs a little bit more. You can see that texture. And I think it gives a better fit. That's just my opinion. I'm having fun with it now. We'll see how long I continue doing them like that. But there you go. And then the other pair of socks I have on the needles, it didn't see any love this week. It just didn't. It's this one. So I've got these on the needles and you know, I'm on the straight portion right here. And this one I am still working on the gusset and then I will continue on. This is the Cascade Heritage Prints sock yarn. I did get it at Little Knits. They had it on sale for like $6, $6.99, something. It was way less expensive than at a regular local yarn store. And you either get it or you don't. And I personally love working with it. It is really soft. It's a good wool nylon blend. If you can't work with wool, obviously don't touch it. But it's one of my favorites. My absolute favorite sock yarns are the German sock yarns. Good, hard-wearing sock yarns. The Heritage Print, this year is the first year I've actually used it for socks. I've been making kids' clothing with it, kids' garments with it, because you can crochet and or knit, either one, whatever you do, or both, and use a bigger needle. Use a bigger needle, use a bigger hook, have that drape and that breathability. So even though it's a #1 weight yarn, for socks, yes, I am using a size 1 2.25 millimeter hooks, needles. I prefer double points. That's why all mine are like that. That's my preference. There's a lot of different ways you can make socks. Another thing that I like about that is you can use size 5 knitting needles easy to make a garment with fingering weight yarn. It's going to give you that drape. It's going to be breathable. It's going to have that, but it's going to work up a lot faster being on size 5s. So if you're a knitter, don't be afraid to try it. If you're a crocheter, up that hook size. Don't be afraid to try it. You've got this, right? It's fun. It's crafting. There you go. So let's see. I've got other things going on. Let me go ahead and I'm going to grab my stuffed critters that I have worked on this week. For the things we're making Thursday project, we're making a stuffed turkey. And I am having so much fun with this. I'm taking my time. I'm being very meticulous on the color choices. I had a lot of fun picking the eye color. I put that out. I had you can see the little guy, right? He's got a blue eye and a brown eye. And I put that out when I was working on it. I had like I don't know, 8, 9, 10 eyeballs, right? Because I've got a full set of them, all the different colors and the different sizes. We're all stuck in this and trying to determine what color and what kind. And I had people put down in the comments, and the deciding vote, so to speak, was the person who said, hey, brown and blue, just like my eyes. So I had to do it. That was the deciding. She was not the only one that was saying the 2 colors, but that was definitely the absolute kicker. So there you go. I just think that's adorable. So I've got more pieces. He is growing, and every day he gets just a little bit cuter. I absolutely adore this. I'm deciding on what color feet and what color feathers and things like that. The other stuffed thing that I am working on is my angler fish. I've pinned on the pieces that I have so far. I need to still do the fins on each side, and then this big thing that goes right here for the angler fish. The pattern shows the safety eyes in the middle of these white, big white eyes, and that will make a difference. So I'll have to decide on the color for that. And Susan, one of my friends, has also suggested I do a live when I sew this together, and we work on that. And I've got to figure out how I would do that, because obviously I can do a live like I'm sitting right here in front of you and talking, and that's fine. But I think if we wanted to do a live like that and showing all of this and how I place them, pin it, and start sewing it together, wouldn't it be better if I was like down on a table, if you want to call it that, or something where the camera's looking at my hands? I don't know how to switch that. I've seen other people do that on their lives. I don't know if they've got 2 cameras set up. I don't really understand all of that, but I'd like to. I think that would be fantastic. It's a wonderful idea, and have people kind of typing in and going, hey, move the eye up, move the eye down, you know, that type of thing. I don't know, and start sewing it on. So love the idea. Don't really know how to do the execution. If you do, put it down in the comments. Help me out, right? You know, that would be fantastic. I would greatly appreciate that. That would really help me out a lot. Let's see. What else do we want to see? I have been very, very busy this week working on a lot of stuff. Finishing the socks, finishing the hat. Oh yeah, I've got more hats. It is that time of year. I'm in Colorado, it's getting cold. We've already had snow, and then it melted, and then we had a dusting of snow, and it wasn't the snow that day that was so bad, but it was so frigid, bone chilling cold that, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I look like a little chihuahua. I was like, yeah, that's me. So I'm working my hats and having fun, and happy I got one done, right? Because the others, I've got 2 more on the needles, and they're not done, but I do have a lot of progress. I'm having a lot of fun with sequins lately. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So this is a Rossetti yarn. It is the yarn itself is cotton. It's got the little sequins in it and everything, and it's a cotton blend, but this is a lot of fun. I like this. This is my first time using this yarn. It was $8 at the local yarn store. We have a yarn store called Everything Alpaca, and they sell more than just alpaca stuff. But this yarn is, I don't know if it's one of their new ones or not, but the sequins on it, let me see if I can pull out a little farther. They are staggered in such a way. I absolutely love them. They're not metered apart like every 8 inches you have a sequin or something like that. You've got some of them, and then you've got 2 of them that are really close together, and then you've got them farther apart. And what that does is it gives a nice staggered appearance on the project. So I'm using that, and then I'm also using this yarn. I've used quite a bit in the middle. This is called Queensland's Perth, and it is a Australian superwash wool, I believe so, 100%, and it's a fingering weight. It's 437 yards, something along that line for the 100-gram ball. I paid $13 for this. I paid $8 for the sequins, and look at that. That hat is absolutely stunning. So I'll link the pattern that I went by. I made a different ribbing down here. This ribbing is, I knit with the one color and I purled with the other color. And what I did, you can see how the outside edge is this golden yellow. Well, the very beginning of the ball was that purple color, kind of like it is right now. So I just used both of them. So I cast on with both and then knit all of the knits with the purple, and then I purled with that golden color. And then once I was done with the ribbing, I cut off the golden color and I continued on to do the hat. I added in the sequins and continued the hat. The pattern is just for the lace portion. The pattern itself is a 2x2 rib, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. So you could go either route. I just added extra more because, you know, I'm a little extra that way. But this to me is stunning. And you can see how many, that does not skimp on the sequins at all. I mean, it is just so sparkly, no doubt about it. This is going to be so much fun to wear. And look at that. That right there is just going to sparkle in the sunshine when you go outside, especially with the cold and everything. You know, you got the snow on the ground and you have this. And I love wool. I'm a wool lover, definitely. This is a nice, comfortable feeling wool. It radiates through. Again, Colorado, you want that warmth, so that nice wool hat, I'm all for it. Definitely all for that. Absolutely love it. So that is thrilling. I plan on keeping it until somebody oohs and ahs in the proper fashion, and then I probably just give it to them off of my body. I've done that before. I don't know if you're like that. I think as crafters, it's just in our nature to be very giving. I have given hats off my body. I've given scarves off my neck. I have done that type of thing. It's just, that's how we are. So even though I'm planning on keeping it, I might not. It's just how that works. So I've worked on another hat, and you've seen this one. Let me lean over and grab it. You've seen this one before. This is the bumblebees. And I have 2 complete rows of the bumblebees, and you can see that so well now. That is just gorgeous. And then it's got this long brim, and we talked about it previously. I'm going to go ahead and fold this up and stitch it down, you know, folding it right there and everything, and then just stitching it right here. I don't think I need to put any elastic in it. We did talk about that because it looked big. When I first started doing the bumblebees, that looked like it was going to be way too wide for my head or somebody else, or how, you know, again, do I keep it or not? Love my bumblebees. And that was one of the options, and I really like that. I like having more of the bumblebees than I do this brim, as I like to wear my hats kind of sitting back, as you've noticed on the last 2 that I've tried on. And to me, you're just not seeing the bees as much, you know? When you've got it right here, all you're seeing to me is just this. And that's fine. And that's what it shows in the pattern page also. But I like the bumblebees. So folding this up and giving less of the brim, less of that gray, it gives the opportunity for the bees to really shine. And you know, that's what got me. See, look at that. What a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and go that route. If I have to do a 4th row of bees, I don't think I do, because this is the 2nd row and I'm on that 3rd. So I don't even have to do an extra row of bees, and just fold this up and sew it down, and that'll be fantastic. I'm enjoying it. What I thought was really interesting about this pattern is you don't see the bee. At least I can't distinguish the bee until it's completely done. I just can't. You've got right here, you can see I've started another one, right? And then last week I was, 1.5 bees. You couldn't tell. I mean, to me, I can't. That just looks muddled to me. But once you get that final, even getting to here, it's still, to me, you couldn't really see it. This is one of those odd patterns that you got to have it all done, and then it pops. And that really pops. And here we go. If you want to see that underside, I always think it's a good idea to see that too. That's on my floats. So, where I'm catching my yarn and things like that. It's nice to see that, because we always show the pretty side. And not that the other side is ugly, but it's like, well, how do you do it? How does it work for you? How do you come up with that? So I'm going to have to do a demonstration also on how I hold my yarn. I think that one would be an interesting one for people who are wanting to do stranded knitting. Not necessarily everybody, but for those of us that want to do stranded knitting, it might not be a bad idea. Let me go ahead and get my yarn around my finger, and I'll show you one of the ways that I hold this. There we go. So I've got it crossed. Can you see that right here? It's kind of crossed right here on my fingers, and I'll knit just like that. I'm gonna have to do it with a camera, but I can just pick at whatever color of yarn I want. So I do hold all of my yarn in this hand right here, and I am a continental knitter, which means that, you know, I'm holding it here and I'm got my yarn over there and I'm just picking with it. For a lot of people, that's faster. It's just preference. I taught myself how to knit at a young age. And, oh, okay, the ball of yarn just rolled across the room. I taught myself how to knit at a young age. I didn't really do anything with it until about 25 years ago, something along that line. But I did, back in the 80s, I taught myself how to knit, and I made a baby coat for a doll. And the patterning talked about reversing your stitches, reversing your knitting. And I didn't understand what that meant, so I made two pieces because the coat was directly in half, and then you just sewed it up in the back. You know, you had the two sleeves on each side. And so I made two pieces the same. And then when I went to sew it together, one side was purl, obviously, and the other side was knit. And that's not what I wanted. And knitting was so much slower than crocheting. I set it down for decades, you know, but now I do a lot of knitting. It's kind of a back and forth. It depends on what I'm wanting to make. Crocheting in a lot of instances is faster than knitting. Whatever. Just really, what do you want to do? What do you want your project to look like? That's all. I love the fact I can do both. That I can pick up a hook and I can make something and I can create something. That I can pick up knitting needles and I can do the same. That I can combine them both in one project is awesome. So, want to see the big projects that ate a lot of my time this week? Holy cow. I am working on a cardigan for my Mystery Yarn Challenge. I did finish the scrubbing bubbles with the yarn that I got for my October challenge, and that is part of the yarn. But the main thing that I wanted to finish was this cardigan, and I'm still working on it. It doesn't have sleeves yet. I'm not quite done with the length. This cardigan, the pattern design is Harvest by Tin Can Knits. And I am right there on that bottom edge doing the garter stitch along the bottom. I have followed the pattern all the way until that bottom garter. And on that bottom garter right here, you can see I've got a slant. So I'm trying to do a little bit of a slant and everything as opposed to a straight down and a 90-degree angle edge. I didn't want that. I wanted it a little bit more curved. So I did some decreases every third row. I decreased one on the edge right here. You can see how much I have on the garter stitch. And I just wanted it slightly sloped, just a little bit angled on the edge. That's all. So working on that, I'm just about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 more rows. It's long enough. But you know how that goes where you're like, well, I've got the yarn, which I do have enough yarn. I have the yarn, I have the whatever, you know, let's make it a little longer. I can do it. And I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I am doing it. So that's this. So this is an open front cardigan. It doesn't have to be. I could have made it to where I could really, you know, the pattern shows you just like a shawl pin or a button that you can do right here. I didn't want either. I just left it going all the way straight down. I like the garter stitch here, the lines of it. This yarn is Lion Brand Comfy Cotton. It's the first time I've used it. Thoroughly enjoying it. I'm liking the way it feels. I'm liking the comfort of it. I have another full ball, and I've used quite a bit of this. You can't tell, but I have used quite a bit of this one. This is my third one. I have a solid full fourth one. And the sleeves will be as long as I choose to make them. I think I could make it all the way down to the cuff. We'll see if I make them 3/4 or a full sleeve. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. Let's see if I can get that. Nope, can't. Oh, there you go. You can see right here, you've got a little bit of that curve. I just didn't want it straight down. That was just my choice on that. That's all what that is. So it definitely goes down to my jeans. It meets as far as that. The pattern is, as you can see, top down. You can make it as long as you want to. This is So beginner friendly for somebody who, Tin Can Knits has a series, a simple beginning type of a series with pattern sizes that go from small child up to multi-X sizes. So you've got this massive range, which is wonderful. She has a free series and tutorials to go with it to really help to show those techniques. And she does a lot of things with it that really gives your piece a very professional look when it's finished. I thoroughly enjoy it. I've made a couple of designs from Tin Can Knits. One of the sweaters that I've made is called Flax. I think I've done that one a couple times already. I've given one away. I've got one. That's how that works. But they're really nice, well fit, well thought out designs, simple shaping, great instructions. If you've not done a wearable and you really want to work on a knit wearable, give it a try. Just try it. It's knits and purls. That's all it is. Give yourself some grace, relax, take a little bit of time, few stitches every night. You'll get there. That's it. Just a few stitches a night. You've got this. Don't let anyone tell you you can't, and don't let anybody tell you that that's too hard, because it's not. You can do it. I had a good decade plus where I kept saying, this is the year of the sweater. I'm going to make a sweater. And I didn't. I just didn't. And this last year and a half, I've made quite a few. And I've got quite a few more that I think I'll pull out and show everybody that I've got all of these that I started. And yeah, I should probably do something with those, because I think I've got a couple of them that wouldn't fit me now because I'm bigger than when I started it. That's okay. It'll fit someone. It'll be fine. And then the best one, the one that my husband is really, really getting on to me about, is his sweater. I reached some serious milestones on it today. This is a sleeve. I have bound off on the sleeve. Here's the angle. It goes, let me see if I can get this on the lens, but you can see how, there you go. That is a full sleeve bound off. I have both of them. You know what's really funny? He does watch my videos, but he doesn't always like sit there and stare at them, right? But he watches them, and then normally I'll show like this, and I've said that I've got both of them. And when I was trying them on, I'll try the sweater piece itself and then the sleeve just to see if it was going to be long enough. I only tried one on him, because I'm making them both in tandem, right? He didn't realize that I have them both done. So there you go. I'm a little farther along than he was thinking, which is good. So I just have to set these in. This is not a angled, it's not a set in sleeve, and as far as that goes, this right here is just a straight up hole. That's his sweater right here. And I am excited to do that. And then there's that neckline. So I was able to check that out, show it to him. Let's see. See? Isn't it going to be cool? Oh my gosh, he's going to love it. And I've got some those closing stitch markers and everything. So I've got some of those. And what I'm going to do before I sew this in, first of all, I've got all the ends that I've got to weave in. Haven't woven anything yet. I wanted to make sure that, I like the sweater and I was going to keep it, right? Before I did any end weaving. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to find the exact halfway point, and I've got those locking stitch markers, and I'm going to hold it right here, right? And then I'm going to have the other stitch marker right at the very bottom where I've got my increases down at the very bottom piece right here. And I'm going to hold it. And then I'm going to count up to about halfway on the sweater itself, and then halfway on the sleeve. And I'm going to do another one of those locking stitch markers. So I'm going to have 4. I might even go at, excessive and have 8 of them all the way around the sleeve. And what that's going to do, it's going to help me to make sure I sew the sleeve on evenly. The last thing I want is to sew it on and then have, down there at the bottom, have this much of the sleeve that I have to cram in, because that's going to be uncomfortable and it's not going to be nice. So really taking that time on that finishing. And then one of the other things I looked at with this, oh my gosh, this neckline, not going to lie, it's going to be easy. Oh my gosh, so easy. So what you do on this, right? It's that big open neckline and everything where the ribbing meets right here and it overlaps and it goes up around the neck like that. So it looks huge right now, right? I mean, I think it does. What I do with it is I get my knitting needles and I pick up from here, going all the way up on there, going around the neck edge, and then back down here. And then it's just knit purl ribbing for, I think it says about 10 centimeters. Not really sure, but I'll look at it. And then once you get that, you bind it off in your ribbing, and then you stitch down right here with the overflap pieces, the 2 pieces. You just stitch it down in the center. They overflap, and that's it. And it's done. Oh my goodness. So once I get the knitting needles and pick up those stitches and go around the edge, it won't be much because, you know, it's just knit and purl for so many inches. It's easy, right? We got this. So I'll do the same thing like I was talking about for the sweater is, you know, I'll count, you know, from here to here. What I might do is look at from here, you know, because it tells you in the directions. You want to pick up 5 stitches per every 2 inches, and you want to even all the way around. So even if I did something and said, hey, you know, for simple, like say there's 20 here, I don't know, but whatever. Say there's 20 here and I pick up 20 on this side, and then I come over here and I get really close and, you know, I've got 10 of them up here, and then I've got, you know, 10 to go from here. That's not going to look right. So putting those locking stitch markers at the halfway point and stuff and going, okay, from here to here, I'm picking up, fill in a number. In our case, it's 10. Good. From here to here, 10. Got it. From here to here, 10. Got it. And going like that, that'll make sure that the collar's going to be even on both sides. And that'll give it a more finished, more polished look. I don't know how many stitches I'm going to be picking up. The pattern doesn't have a direct amount. It really depends on how you made it, right? Because, you know, it tells you how many inches to decrease and how much of all that other stuff and going up straight. And you want to work it out to where it's not too tight and it's not too loose. If you put too many stitches, what it's going to do is it'll ruffle. If you put too few stitches, it's going to pucker in. Neither one of them are the look that you're going to go for. Neither one would give you a good polished look. So there's just some little details as far as that goes to make it, I mean, that's a lot of work, right? That's a lot of work that I put into this. It fits him beautifully. I want it to look gorgeous on the finishing. The last thing I want is to rush and hurry on the neck, make it lopsided, make it, you know, don't stitch things down properly, do it a little uneven, a little wonky. That would kind of take away from all the work that's gone into it so far. But I can see an end to this. It is very, very exciting. Hopefully he will have it very, very soon, well before the next snowstorm. Can't really say that. Don't really know when the next snow's coming in. It's Colorado after all. But I'm absolutely thrilled. And then, oh my goodness, shouldn't have been doing it. But when I was looking at the book, it's a Viking Knits is what I've used for this one. And it's the Papa sweater, Viking Knits. There's a lot of other sweaters in there that look amazing. There's a lot of Fair Isle. And if you're not comfortable doing the Fair Isle, or you're not sure, in the back, they have the hats. So a lot of the Fair Isle stitches that they're using for the all-over sweater, you can make a hat to determine, do I like it? Can I do it? Am I going to get bored with it? So I'm kind of thinking I need to do a hat and then decide if I want to cast on another sweater. Maybe I should admit to you how many sweaters I have on the needles. Oh, that's another thing. I don't really count the stuff. I don't. I have other things sitting around, works in progress, whips and things like that. If I'm not actively working on them, I don't count them. You know, that's just yarn ready to be reclaimed. That type of a situation. It just, that's not something that I work with. And then here I'm like thinking about it. Want to see what I've got in my car? Look at this. This is one of my car knitting things and everything. So I went to a craft show. Justine was a swap partner for me from Lori's Mystery Yarn Challenge, and she was setting up for a craft fair, and I went. She let me know where it was and when it was, so I got a chance to meet her in person. It was so nice, and see some of the things that she was working on. So she got a chance to see me working on this. I had this on my wrist and working on this right here. Pull it up. Get my hands in here. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? So this is a little top, and doesn't really have a pattern. The neck is huge at the moment, and we'll see. We'll see. Once I get it off the needles, we'll see what it looks like. I've got the arms on the holders. This is bamboo sock yarn, bamboo pop, bamboo, yeah, I think so. And really nice, again, a #1 weight. I like this, feels great. I like this because you saw how small that project is, right? You know, the small project bag, it just stays in my car. It lives in my car, and I'll pull it out and I work on it sometimes. That's why this one wasn't really counted, but look at that. It's got a nice little drop neck shoulder. And the cool thing about this, it doesn't matter for knitting or crocheting. If you can do both, that's helps out too. But you can't loosen a neck if you've made it too tight, you know. And I didn't have a pattern for this. I just cast on. It was something that I wanted to throw in the car. It's been there for a while. I don't know when I started it. Doesn't matter. But I did work on it this week. And so this is loose, right? This, if you look at it, you can stretch this out really, really big. But once I've finished it and I put sleeves on it and we determine, me, whatever, determines how big that is, I can go around and I can pick up stitches again and bind them off tighter if need be. Or, which I've done too, I can go around it with a single crochet and everything and tighten that up also if it needs it. I don't think it will. I think once it's on a human body, little kid body, we'll see what it looks like and then make that determination. But those are just some other finishing techniques, some other designs, you know, for that neckline that you can do. And another project that I'm not really claiming because, well, there you go. That's just how that works. Like I said, while I was waiting and everything to get into the craft show, I did put some work onto that. So that was good. But those are some of the wonderful things that I've worked on this week and getting stuff done. I did have one more. Oh, yeah. Look. Oh. Remember this? Look at this. So it's not done yet, but oh my gosh, it's close. It is close. So this is super bulky yarn. I'm using size 15 knitting needles with. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And that is a reversible cable. It looks the same on both sides. And it's bordered with a nice seed stitch border. And it is pretty close to being done. I've got plenty of yarn left to finish it. Not a problem. I think I could make it about 6 feet. I don't think I want to make it 6 feet. I think we talked about it before where I would want it to where you could have it like this, cross it over in your coat, but not really hanging down way past where the bottom of your coat would normally be. So I'm pretty close to being done with this. Yeah, it works up fast. I fight with these needles. These are big needles. That's size 15. I'm not used to using big needles like this, so this was something else for me to work with, but I'm doing it. So out of my comfort zone, just like I tell everyone else, you can do it. Get out of your comfort zone, you know, one stitch at a time. You've got this, right? It's okay. So I'm having fun with that. Yeah, that was a challenge for me, right? We all have our different things, and that was a fun challenge. I saw it. I got it in the mystery box sent by Lori at the Armchair Chef. I did buy one of her mystery boxes. That color is perfect for me, so why not use it? I absolutely love it. And it's been a lot of fun learning different things and playing with some of the materials that I'm not used to. Well, hopefully you have seen something and maybe picked up something today with the different types of techniques for sewing the sweater together, or my ideas on how I'm going to do it to try to make them even, and then seeing like the amigurumi pin together, or, you know, combining yarns with the sequin yarn and the other wool yarn, or the alpaca yarn and the sock yarn. Good ways of using up leftovers, good ways of creating projects that you just didn't think it was going to look like that. Lots and lots of fun. Well, I've been on here for a while. I could continue to talk all night, but I don't think you want to. I don't know. Maybe. You have to let me know. All right, everybody. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. It has been such a joy talking to you and showing you all the things that I worked on this week. Bye-bye, everybody.